How you doing, good sir?
I'm good. We're back for another episode. We are back.
We're back.
And not just that, we've got a new guest this week, our second guest, in fact. I'm excited. I mean, you know me, I'm very excitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the way it is. Maybe I've had too much coffee.
All right, let's get into it. All right, so James, on to our guest this week.
Wait a minute. Did you say welcome to Curtin Canyon?
No.
You just can't get the help these days. Welcome to Curtin Canyon.
So today we've got Will from Rennthusiast. So he's, like us, a content creator, really good dude. I've actually spoken with him. Well, I've messaged him a bunch of times, and then we've ended up having a FaceTime chat a month or so ago. Really good dude. He's really Porsche focused. He's also buying a lot of Land Cruisers at the moment, I think, so crazy. He's got some awesome cars. He's got a 3.2 Carrera. He's got 964, he's got a 993, he's got this 924 that he's turning into a safari build. He's built a Facebook group called the Rennthusiast Air-Cooled Porsche Fans. Great dude, killer cars. We thought we'd get him on today. So Will, welcome. How are you, mate?
Doing well, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's quite an honor, and I'm excited to chat today.
Nice.
Well, I feel like an outsider already because I'm in the water cooled crew. Am I cool enough to be part of this conversation today? Should I just sit here and let you guys talk?
Technically, no. I'm sorry, but we're going to tolerate you because it is you have a microphone in front of you and it's your show. So what can I say?
That was almost an Adam Sandler quote there, Will. I have a microphone, sir, and you do not.
Yes, indeed. So no, all Porsches are great, man. I tend to really just connect more with the air-cooled, the older cars. I'm a vintage vehicle guy, period. And I've had a couple of water-cooled Porsches, and they were great. I mean, engineering was amazing, but air-cooled's where it's at for me. But I still have respect for you, James.
Yeah, we'll see.
that James, that makes one of us.
You've only been on for about 2 minutes.
Hey, Will, let's just rewind a little bit. Where does this car passion and enthusiasm come from, and then how does it sort of then evolve into a Porsche passion?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, right? So I told you I listened to your first episode with Darren Pfister, and you asked him the same thing. So I figured maybe that was kind of the seed question to get everything started. And I was on a run, and I was thinking about that, and so my grandparents had a farm way out in like rural Southwest Virginia here in the United States, and like no cops, everybody knew everybody. And I remember at the age of 11, my grandfather like would put me on his lap and let me drive the truck like at speed, right? Like maybe it was 30 miles an hour or whatever, but it was the freaking coolest thing, right? Like the thing would go where I pointed it. I mean, there was just something about the motion and the control, and you guys are car guys, like you get it. It's whoa, this is it for me. And so I think he probably regretted that because I just pestered him every time I went up there. Like that's all I wanted to do. And then I was thinking about this more. I'm like, where did it go from there? And I remember a kid, like I was like 12 years old, 13 years old. I'd ride my bike to the convenience store, like we did, right? We'd have to get some gum or whatever we bought. But here in the United States, and I guess maybe you guys had this too, but we had, autotrader.com is now online, but it used to be these really awesome like paper, like newspaper booklets, dude. God. Yeah. And I would buy one for $1 and I would just dream and I would go through it. And I didn't even really have I just wanted it to be fast and badass, And so I was totally consumed with that, just pestering my dad. Like I wanted a 5.0 Mustang when I turned 16. He was like, "You're out of your mind." And so, yeah. And then, I think about like my first car, it was a hand-me-down Infiniti G20. It was a 1991. It was a Nissan product, bulletproof car. I beat that car to death and it just kept going, man, that little 4-cylinder. And so anyway, the story goes on and on. I think I've counted at last count, I've owned like 60 vehicles, right?
Whoa.
60.
60. So some of those were daily, some of them were motorcycles, so I don't ever care to go back and calculate how much I've lost on cars. I talked to a guy recently. He said, man, the moment you can get honest with yourself and just say, look, I lose money on cars and I'm okay with that. That's the moment that you're going to be free and you're just going to embrace it.
100%.
So that's a whole different conversation, man. But to answer your question, I was able to start to get some momentum in my life, and I was able to afford, some nicer cars, and I kind of rolled equity from one into another, and I ended up being I fell into the BMW camp for a while, and I was really into like E30s, E46 M3s. Man, I got into the track scene. I had an E36 M3 track car. I mean, those old M cars, man, you could just beat those cars to death, and they would just they would just take you to work on Monday like it was nothing. And so I remember I had an E92 M3 competition, and it was a 6-speed. And I don't know how much you guys know about BMWs, but pardon me, I'll geek out on them for a second. And this was a V8, sounded badass, but didn't mate well. I had the 6-speed, didn't really mate that well to the gearboxes it sat. So I bought the car, I experienced it for a while, and I was like, I think I want to sell this. And all of a sudden, I don't know, I was like, man, I think it's time to get an SC. Because I had always, the allure of air-cooled, BMW guys talk about that. Some guys actually ran air-cooled cars at the track, which I just thought was badass. And anyway, so I started to look around for an SC, and then I'm like, well, maybe I want a 3.2. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but like, I'll make this up. Your search for a car starts with like a $20,000 budget. And you're like, man, hey, 20,
can't relate at all.
20's not going to get me there, but if I just bump up to 22.5, and next thing you know, you're like, you've doubled your budget. And so at that stage, by the time I kind of like learned all the ins and outs of the SCs and what you're looking for and what to avoid and what mods you want done and all those things that we know about, I was in a high mileage 993 price range. Yeah. And lo and behold, man, I tripped over my Polar Silver car on, I think it was Rentlist. And I reached out on it and ended up putting a deal together with the guy. And when I bought that 993, I mean, that was the hot car when I was in high school, right? That was the hot Porsche. And man, beautiful. And I remember it showed up on the transport. It was a 2-car transport. The guy let me back the thing out. My wife got a little footage of me backing out, and I just like was beaming. And the car, in retrospect, the car was brutal, man. It had that high ride height. It was not where it is today. But man, I just remember the first drive in that thing, just the mechanical nature of it, the smell, the sound, man. And I was hooked. So long answer to your question, but that's what got me into this scene.
Amazing.
So of your 60 cars, how many of those have been Porsches?
Oh, let's see. So five plus maybe 6 if you count my 924 Safari that I'm working on.
I can't wait to talk about that. I saw that video this morning. I can't wait to talk about
dude,
that.
I'm getting some like mixed reactions to that. Yeah, we can get into that later if you want. But 6 of them have been Porsches. I don't know. 8 BMWs. So it's a sickness for sure. I mean, it's just because here's the thing too. You start to collect these things, and then one day you kind of walk out in your garage. You're like, "What did I do?" Because they all need something at any given time, right? You got a new puddle of oil or like a new warning light or something, and so luxury problems, but definitely fun.
So as you say, you've expanded it now into. Would we call it it's a collection, right? I think once you've got more than 2, it's a collection.
Yeah, I think you start to get into when I hear collection, man, I'm thinking about like Rudy's, like that's a collection.
Yeah, that's a collection.
My vision for my small collection is I like to have a variety of experiences available to me. So, you kind of laughed about the vintage cruisers that I'm into. It's kind of like, maybe I'm in the mood to go slow and row through the gears and feel like an old man one morning. And that's what I want to jump into. Or maybe I'm in the mood for the 964. And so I think, I'd say it's a collection, but I'm trying to have enough. I want to be able to go out and experience each one. This isn't, hey, let me put these trophies in the garage and stare at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's one of the things I love, and I very much get a sense of this from your videos, and that you get out and you rip these things through the hills, right? Like you don't just sit there and stare at them in your garage.
Yeah, I like to buy a driver quality car because I have owned one fully restored car. It was a 1970 BMW 2002. There's a long story behind it. A doctor put way too much money into it and had to sell it cheap, and I got my hands on it. And the thing was immaculate, and it held me hostage because it was so perfect you didn't want to take it out. And after I got rid of that car, I was like, I'm not doing that. And then with these Porsches, I mean, Andy, I don't have to tell you this, man. I mean, how fun is it to be driving at pace through switchbacks with a group of these cars together? I mean, I think it's an experience not to be missed, man. I just can't imagine not pushing on them.
No, I agree. I think all three of us can very much relate to that. And that's, I think, one of the great experiences that you don't necessarily anticipate when you come into this space. You know, you imagine yourself maybe driving down the road on your own and heading to the mountains maybe with your wife, but it's actually the early Sunday morning or the trip away where your mirrors are filled with them, in front of you is filled with them, and you're driving an incredible road at pace. That's where you really get to experience these things.
Yeah, when I bought the 993, I had zero idea just how amazing the Porsche community really is. And I think Andy, you touched on this in your last episode with Darren. You're talking about the greatest friends you've made have been in the community, and I got to say that that's been my experience also. So it was like, my channel opened the door for me to meet other guys in my local region and get invited to events where I got to take this ownership experience from, oh man, I get to like go out by myself and drive this 993 into the mountains, to, man, there are meets where 60 cars get together for a weekend, and I connect with all these guys, and like the sights and the smells and the laughs and all the busting each other's chops. I mean, it's been an amazing journey, but it goes back to being willing to drive the cars.
Yeah.
What was your passion with the cars originally? Was it driving the cars, or was it like understanding how they're put together and being able to tinker with them, or has it sort of just become a mishmash of all of that?
Well, remember I said that I'm really good at losing money on cars, and it's because I can't work on them, man. Mechanics love me or hate me. I don't know which, depending on how many problems I bring them. But unfortunately, I got to outsource a lot of that kind of mechanical stuff. So I would say, my love for these cars, it has to do with the design and the presence when you're around them, and just it's the experience of being in them and driving them, rolling through the gears. And again, I mean, it goes back to the community, man. I mean, there's a great event that happens here in Western North Carolina, up the mountains, once a year. I've done a couple of videos on it. It's called Targa Carolina, and it's
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing experience, and you have the whole variety of them. And the problem, by the way, and I know I'm meandering a little bit, for me, every time I go to Targa Carolina, I'm like, maybe it's time for a long hood, or maybe it's time for a hot, I mean, it's, or man, I really need some wheels like that, like that's So that's the risk of the meets, right?
That event looks amazing too.
Yeah, it's well run. It's Charles Stanley is the gentleman who organizes it. He's become a friend of mine. He lives about 45 minutes from me, and so I mean, he's just done such a great job at putting that together. And
Hey, so Will, what was the catalyst for you to start making content? Because there is so much Porsche content out there now, and I think what's great about it is that for the enthusiast, the everyday enthusiast who wants to just sit down, trawl through YouTube, there's a million videos that now you can watch on Porsche. What made you want to throw your hat in the ring and join that conversation?
It's interesting that you asked that question. So for me, YouTube has been a personal development journey first, and then a car journey second. And I was thinking through. I figured you're going to ask me that question about the channel, and it's a logical question to ask. And I was kind of debating like how transparent do I want to be about this? And I think I'll just kind of lay it out there. I was at age 40. I was kind of struggling with some things around pushing myself out of my comfort zone and kind of put my hand out to strangers and that kind of thing. And I thought, what better way to really open myself up to criticism and taking a leap than to put myself out there and just kind of see what happens. And so I started making videos about my passion. At first it was BMWs. And the reason that I selected car content is for obvious reasons. I mean, that's that's clearly my passion, my obsession, to be honest with you. But man, I would like, if I would, let's go back to the SC search, right, that I referred to earlier on. I would go and I would look, because I don't know about you guys. I like to use YouTube if I'm shopping for something, particularly a car. I want to understand like as much as I can about what it's going to be like to touch it, to drive it, to, where are the flaws with it, man? Like, what am I in for money wise, repair wise, all that kind of stuff. And man, I would trip over these videos. And number one, I noticed there was a lot of, like, at least at this point in time, a lot of missing content, right? You couldn't find certain things that you wanted to find. Like, okay, I really want to see like what the engine looks like. And man, you would poke around, you couldn't find it. Or man, I really want to see what a pair of 17-inch Fuchs replicas look like on a 3.2. I couldn't find that.
Yeah.
And the videos that I did find, I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, well, if these guys are doing it, I could do it too. There's no reason. Am I right? I mean, no offense to anybody out there, but that's the beauty of YouTube. It's like, okay. And it's so funny. I don't know if you guys go back and look at some of your early videos. I do. When I can bear it, because sometimes it's really painful to watch. But like scared, deer in headlights, like no emotion, right? I'm imagining people are all like, they're taking notes and they're just going to eviscerate me in the comments. And I learned early on, like, people just don't care that much. They come there and they consume the content and move on. So I hopefully that answers your question. I mean, for me, it was about, facing some discomfort, walking through that, and getting unstuck in life. And it's been an amazing journey. And, I'm at 15,000 subscribers now, and you guys know this because you both, well, you know what? I mean, it's taken forever. And sometimes you create the most brilliant in your mind video. You're like, this is going to be it. And it just fails, and then like my 100,000 view video about why I sold my, 911 Turbo. I whipped that thing out in like 20 minutes in my garage, and it was a video that I had been procrastinating on because I'm like, nobody wants to hear this, and I just did it because I had a gap in my schedule. And next thing you know, like it created a lot of energy, and so it's been a journey. I have taken a couple months off, Andy. And it's and I think you and I chatted briefly on Facebook about this. Like, it just kind of happens. You know what I mean? I don't know what your guys' experience has been with that, James, but I mean, do you find yourself like hitting a wall?
A little bit, yeah. And sometimes it's because I'm sort of out of ideas for the moment. Like, I get to the end of a series of mods with a car, and then I'm like, okay, I need a break. And other times I'll snap back into it, and I'll make 4 or 5 videos in a week. And it sort of ebbs and flows. And I've looked back over the past couple of years, and I think even last year I felt like it was a pretty slow year for me content-wise, but I still averaged 1 video a week.
Yeah, you're prolific, James.
But there were definitely times when I didn't put a video out for like 8 weeks. So there must have been some weeks where I cranked one out every day for a couple of days.
That's unbelievable.
But I do hit a wall every now and again.
It's interesting what you say about, people mostly being positive. I think at the end of the day, people are, and by people I'm referring to the audience here, they're just happy to have some more content to consume, right? And I think also they make some allowances for the fact that, okay, we're not professionals. You talk about early videos. I remember my mechanic said to me about my first video. He said, I watched it. Well, I watched some of it. It was long.
That's great.
And I was like, okay, fair point. But I think for the most part, people are just, happy to have something they can consume, happy to have a dialogue. That's the thing that I love about it, is that I love responding to comments. I love actually talking to these people. It's awesome.
So now you've got the Safari project coming up.
Yes.
I mean, are you thinking about, plotting out a series of videos that will follow your build journey? Are you just going to make them on an ad hoc basis when you get time and you feel like it? Because that's quite an undertaking.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, like, there's a couple of questions baked into that. So number one, I mean, I need to find some motivation, guys. Like, I'm not even lying to you. I've taken a little while off, and it's tough, man. I mean, I've shot, like, over the past couple of days, I've been fooling around in the garage. It's been warmer here. I've had the chance to do a couple of things, and And like, I get the camera up here and I'm like, all right, what's up guys? This is Will with Rennthusiast. And like and then I'll just trail off and I'm like, that sucked. So I've probably got like 4 videos on my various cameras of like almost videos, but not really. So just delete kind of thing going on. So, so I've got to find, I've got to find my way again because I want to keep doing this thing. So with that said, Safari Project is it's an interesting one. I did an intro video on it. We've made quite a bit of progress. The car is getting worked on about an hour and 15 minutes away from me at my buddy's house in his garage. He's an adept mechanic. He's doing the work. So it's not as easy for me just to pop over and like snag a video of, oh, hey, tire review or whatever. So I've missed some opportunity there, to be honest with you. I will certainly do a few videos on the car. And I'm going to, if you want, I'll tell you a little bit about like why in the world I decided to do this. And
I'm dying to.
Yeah. Well, because James is thinking this could be the car he needs to build for his great Australian debacle safari that he wants to do.
Well, how about this? I'll sell you mine when I'm done with it. How about that?
Awesome. I'll ship it slow boat over to Australia.
So I've wanted a safari, a 911 safari for quite some time, and the problem is I just, as you guys are well aware, painfully aware, donor cars are just stupid money now. Like you're not going to find that high 20s SC anymore. It's just not out there. And I'm not going to go down that path. And so my friend, Eric Lind, he owns Sports Purpose Garage. He's the gentleman who is doing the work on this car. He knew that I had been looking, that I wanted to do this, but he also knew my position on getting into an air-cooled 911 Safari build. And he said, look, man, I have a client who he really had this vision that he wanted a 77 Martini 924 fully restored with ITBs. And so he had me source the car. And so I found the Craigslist. I found the thing on Craigslist. I've test fired the motor. It works. And we started ordering the parts. And the dude he lived in France, I guess, a fairly wealthy guy. Guy lost interest. And he said, oh, Eric, I'm out. I found a VW van I want to do. Like, I don't really want to do this. You can just have it. And so the car sat out in California at Eric's shop. That's where the Sports Purpose Garage is. It sat out in his yard for a little while. And so he and I got to talking, and he threw a number at me, shipped out east with the car and the parts. And I was like, all right, man, at the very least, this will make some good content, and it could be fun, right? And so where we are with it now is we had the tires arrived. And when the tires and the lift went on the car, like I started getting excited through the mechanical process of like doing stuff that's over my head with the motor and putting the ITBs on it. I've not been that stoked up about it just because it doesn't really look like a Safari. But the more I like look at the silhouette of the car and I'm like, man, this thing's gonna be bad. It's gonna be badass. And I don't know if you guys are poked around online, but like this is kind of a thing. So guys are doing 944s, they're doing 924s, and presumably I guess they're chasing down market the cheaper donors. But some of these cars are pretty freaking cool, and they can take a beating. And so, I think I will shoot videos on it. I want to take it out to the hills and get on some forest roads and beat the pants off of it. And do I keep it long term? I don't really know. Do I end up selling it? I'm not sure. But that's the story there, man. And it's fun. It's cool.
It could end up in Australia. I can see that happening in Perth, and then I don't want to drive it back to Melbourne. But so for the listeners out there, creating a safari car might just mean putting big wheels on it. That's the obvious thing aesthetically that you see. Would you mind sort of explaining a little bit about what goes into turning a regular Porsche into a safari Porsche?
Okay, so I'm going to give you my layman's understanding of just the guy that's like sending money to the guy who really knows what he's doing. But
sure. It's
extended torsion bars. Taller shocks up front will get it higher up off the ground, and then you want to put some knobby tires on it. We went like these things are a little more aggressive than what you usually see. It's pretty funny. So you got that, and then a lot of guys will put lights on them up front, because when you're out in the bush, you got to really be able to see at night. And then you got a rack on the top, and so that's what that is. And then the idea is to rip it. And what I like about the 924, by the way, is, and this was advice given to me by somebody who knows what he's doing when it comes to Safari builds. He said, you want to get something where if you run into a sapling, like you don't care. So that goes back to my original point, like with 911s where they are right now, like you don't want to bang the rear end into a tree. No. But with this 924, it's like, okay, that's cool. That's a battle scar. Let's keep rolling, you know?
Yeah. Do you know, I think that makes so much sense. And also, you know, when you think about, like you say, the cost of a donor car now, to say, well, what I'm going to do with that donor 911 is turn it into a Safari car that has, let's be honest, a reduced bandwidth in terms of its usability, right? Because you want to take it out on dirt roads and really experience it in that context. That's a whole lot of money to pour into a car that you're not going to use that often. Versus a 924, hey, you still got the badge on the front, cool car. And yeah, it doesn't matter that you don't use it as often. It's just something really cool and a completely different experience. And you know, like you said before, you're about collecting the experiences. I think it's a great strategy.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I won't disclose numbers, but I think you guys would be shocked at, relatively speaking, how little money I have in this project. And that was really what was appealing about it. And something else that I would say is, because Eric had the car in his possession and he had already test fired the engine and he pretty much knew that it wasn't rotted and, you know, the body there weren't rust issues. That's part of the reason I pulled the trigger. I don't know that I would have the stomach to go jump on some random 77 Martini 924 that I personally found on Craigslist, because that becomes a money pit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so totally. North Carolina, you guys have got some pretty beautiful shoreline there with big flat sandy beaches, haven't you?
Yeah,
I can see the reveal video right now over those. Like, is it Lejeune?
Yeah, I think it's too flat. Okay, so what I got to do is go out to the mountains because I got to get some air in this thing. Like you can't see that shot in your mind? I mean, it's flying through there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good to see you've still got the 12-year-old in your will.
Oh,
what do I want to do in this car? I want to get some air. This is basically like building a jump for your BMX in your backyard.
Yeah, man, that's right.
Evel Knievel. It's Eddie Fiala. Get me some air.
Yeah. So, you know, very fortunate to know a guy who had this car and you know, who's interested in doing this with me and having some fun with it. So definitely lucky.
It's so often the way I think with these cars is that it's, you know, sometimes a little bit of kismet where you just, you know, there's a little opportunity, you're prepared for it and you take it and you score a great car out of it. Will, speaking which of, what are your thoughts on where the market's at? You know, do you think that ownership of a 911 or at least an air-cooled 911, is it getting beyond the realms of the average enthusiast? You know, do they have to start thinking about jumping in a Miata, or what's your view on it?
And I think that's an excellent question, and it's
James, did you hear that? Excellent question. So sorry. Go
well,
ahead.
Andy's obviously he's a brilliant guy. So no, I think so. A lot of my content really lends itself to the guy or the gal who's shopping. You know, 5 things to think about before you pull the trigger, you know, whatever those tips videos are that I've come up with. And so what that's done is, and this is, you know, gratifying. I'm sure you guys have had this. I mean, I have had people reach out and say, man, this has been really helpful. Thank you so much. You helped me avoid a mistake, which is awesome. That's the payoff. But it's given me the opportunity to talk with people who are trying to get in and they're looking for advice. And so they hit me up on Instagram or they email me or whatever. And so I get a firsthand glimpse at what it's like to be a buyer who's on fire for these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're getting more expensive and they're elusive. And I think for somebody who, I think it would be hard to be somebody right now who has a real hankering for an air-cooled 911, like an obsession, and yet they can't pull the trigger either for monetary reasons or because they can't find them. I mean, most people that I've dealt with, I mean, it's a lot of money, right? I mean, but they tend to be able to afford it. The financial end of things isn't really the primary consideration. It's like, where the hell do I find one? So I think that's a challenge for first-time buyers. And I actually was thinking about asking you guys this question. Like, all of our cars are, and the 964s especially. I mean, that Amazon green car, man. Mine, I mean, there was a recent bad auction that blew my mind. But like, are they getting so valuable that we're like thinking twice about going and ripping on them? I don't know. Sometimes it does give me some pause for thought. What do you guys think?
I personally, for the friends that have the air-cooled cars, I think it's going that way for sure. But then I've also got friends who have just bought, new 992s, and they're afraid of getting any snow on the tires, so they put them in the garage. I don't know. But the air-cooled market, the other side of that, I think, is owning a couple of air-cooled cars. You must be tempted to cash in right now, right? I mean, people will pay through the nose for your car.
Look, I mean, the numbers that we see, and you guys are watching, it's insane. Just when I think it can't go any further, like somebody spends 115 grand on a run-of-the-mill 3.2 coupe, right? I mean, I don't get that. So to answer your question, it is very enticing. I'm smirking over here because like I bet you, you guys, I'm sure, have the text groups. I mean, all of our buddies that we're always texting and sending listings to, and all those, and we're all the guys that are currently like holding an air cooled. We're all like, man, you think I should sell it? I mean, it would probably be the right time. But then you fast forward, unless you really want to exit permanently, all you're going to do is you're going to have that hole in the garage, and you're going to overpay for something that, by the way,
for the next one.
Yeah, and guess what? Every time you get one, it's going to cost you 10 to 20% of what you put into it just to get it sorted. Not to mention the time and frustration, So yeah, I think like the riches, I mean, it's out there. We all want it, but I've thought about it a couple of times. I imagine any one of those three cars being gone, and I think I would miss it. I think I would really regret it. So
yeah, I agree with that. And you know what, circling back to your question around the values and does that have an impact on the ability to get out there and rip them in the hills and enjoy them? My experience has been, for me, no. I never think about it when I'm in the hills. It never, ever crosses my mind that the value of this car is such that I should be a little bit cautious. And I have friends with cars worth a hell of a lot more than mine. And same thing. It's as soon as you're in the hills, as soon as you're in the twisties, I mean, all you're thinking about is lining up that next turn, getting your braking point right, picking the right gear. You're not thinking about the value of the car. And, James and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago with the Bad Boys 964 selling. And I said I would buy it and I would rip it through the hills. I don't care what it's worth. I want to drive that car. I think once you're out there in the hills, you just forget about the value and you just enjoy it. But to James's point, I think the values are such that for some people, going to the hills in the first place is probably going to be the real hurdle.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing out there. I like I said, I'm grateful that I have three right now, and that I'm not like without one looking for one, because I think it's tough.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to kind of, hey, do I mind? Am I worried about the value and wrecking the car? I mean, I think you reach out to your insurance company, you up the agreed upon value, and then go rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. I hate the idea of having to replace mine, because there is, if I totaled my 964 today,
just don't even mention it.
Right
just
now,
touch the wood.
I'm knocking on wood. But if I were to do that, right now in Australia, there is one 964 manual coupe available in the whole country, and it's a forward date 993 lookalike. So not even a great example.
Really?
So, in terms of, we talk about scarcity. Replacing that car here would be really, really difficult in spite of agreed values and all the rest of it.
Yeah, the 964 specifically it's tough. I mean, the same thing can be said here. And the really pretty ones that you're looking for are still, they're stupid money. So it's not that dissimilar from what you're seeing.
I don't know. I laugh at your stupid money. I was looking at Bring a Trailer this morning, and there was a white C2 coupe on there for, I think, 42. And I thought, that sounds like good money to me compared to what we pay here. Yeah. You're talking about sort of 200 here. Now, obviously, that's not comparable, right? So that's probably the equivalent of paying.
Yeah, I don't know. What's Aussie dollars? It's just.
It'd be like
Disneyland
120.
money.
Yeah, it's monopoly money.
So
but yeah, I mean, it'd be like 120 US, I think.
So 120 US.
Give or take.
What year example were you just talking about?
For any 964, if you got a C2 manual coupe, let's say they're around 200, 180 to 200. So yeah, you're talking about 100 plus US.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like, I don't know. I think over here, if you get like a higher mileage black or white one that's been beat up, maybe modified in ways that aren't necessarily tasteful, I mean, you might be able to get in at like, God, I don't know. I mean, this is obviously generalizations, like 75 to 80. But now I'm seeing like rather unremarkable, like Gen 1 964s, 1990, even C4s are going for like 80 and 90 grand, and those were the ones that were like the easy to find and not as expensive as the ones to have, the pretty colors and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely, it's crazy. I don't know if it's going to come back down. And for a while I was entertained by it. I mean, everybody's watching the latest auction result. I've kind of just stopped watching.
Yeah, I'm hiding under the covers, hoping it all just sort of goes away eventually and I can start getting into the market again at some point.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, to go back, I am into those vintage Land Cruisers, and part of it is because, I mean, I'm priced out of the 911 market. I'm going elsewhere. And so those trucks are becoming more expensive, but they're like where the SCs used to be. So you feel a little better about it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny actually, because friends and I were looking at BMWs this week for the exact same reason.
Yeah, I mean, because look, we're car guys. We need to scratch the itch. But it's like I've got a buddy who's looking at he's one of the guys that's been looking for air cooled, but he refuses to pay up at all. And so I bet you he's been looking for months. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have to get to a place where you're comfortable paying up and moving quickly, because these guys don't even have to do a PPI because somebody's coming in behind you to buy that car out from under you if you don't do it. So he's frustrated. So he's going to get a side-by-side or a four-wheeler or something to scratch the itch.
So Will, you've moved into the social media space. You've launched a page on Facebook, or a group on Facebook, I should say, over 1,300 members. Well done.
Thank you.
It's clearly got an engaged audience, which is terrific. What was the catalyst for that, and what have been some of the, I guess, challenges and learnings, and then also the positives of it for you?
Okay. I mean, I'm laughing only because like some of the ridiculous things that people do, like reporting other members some of the policing is just ridiculous, guys. I mean, it's,
Hey, that guy had it coming, Will. I had to let somebody know.
Andy, you didn't like the cartoon he shared, so you had to report him to me, right? Like that, that kind of stuff has been humorous. I mean, I am just kind of I've always been a student of human psychology, right? So I find it interesting to see what makes people tick, and so that's been an entertaining and sometimes mildly annoying facet of it, but. I am trying to think, and I can't for the life of me. And this is one of those things. It was like the why I sold my 911 Turbo video. It was kind of a quick decision that it wasn't strategic. I'd love to say, I studied my demographics and realized that I was like, hey, I want to create a hub where it can be a two-way conversation. Let me just create this Facebook page or Facebook group, and I did it. And then I mentioned it in a couple of videos, and people were showing up. And then a couple of people who had very large networks inside of the air-cooled Porsche community, like they started inviting their friends. And next thing I know, it got big. And I think it just goes to show when we are not out in the world face-to-face driving our cars and interacting with one another around the cars, like we want to be able to do it on our phones. And I think that's what happens is guys just gravitate towards each other around these cars. And I think that's why that group has taken off. And it's been, I would say 5% of it's been negative for me, like that, policing stuff and that kind of stuff. Yeah. For the most part, like these guys are eager to share experience and they love like, hey, that's a great picture of your car. And it's just been amazing to watch everybody. And you guys as YouTube content creators will appreciate this. What's been nice is there's been engagement that doesn't rely on me. They talk to each other. And so, I can be lazy.
That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I see. I thought you were going to say what you've realized is that nobody does any work anymore when they're in their office. They're all on Facebook.
Why do you think all of our views went sky high when COVID lockdowns happened? Because everybody's sitting around working from home, watching Porsche videos.
Working from home.
Yeah, right.
So where are you going to go from here with your brand? Because it is a brand now.
Yeah, I mean that's again. I mean it goes back to kind of I'm at a weird place where I'm trying to decide. I mean, what I want to do is create an online community of passionate air-cooled Porsche owners, because I've just kind of selected that segment because at the end of the day, that's what I'm most passionate about. It's really not about being exclusive or pushing people out. It's just this is the niche I'm interested in. But I want to continue to grow a community of people who want to do drives and meetups offline and in events and that kind of thing. And and I'd be lying to you if I said, hey, I'm not interested in the longer term once I create the community once I get it large enough. I mean, I would be interested in selling sponsorships or advertising because fundamentally I'm a business guy. So, I'm a little bit all over the map here, but what I've learned through this journey is just kind of like take the next step, and it all just kind of gels, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I love that, Will. It sounds like for you, it really has been this evolutionary process for you, right? Where it's you got interested in the cars, you bought your first one, you gradually evolved then to having a few, you gradually evolved to producing content, you gradually evolved to building a community. It's fantastic, mate. Well, well done. Well done.
I appreciate you saying that. And I will say that the most rewarding aspects of the ownership of these cars, meaning the community and the events and the friends and the drives and the laughs, I mean, it came to me as a result of YouTube. So, I mean, I was putting out the videos, hanging out by myself, going on drives by myself. Guy that lives about an hour away from me, I mean, he watched the videos and he reached out and he said, hey, look, man, there's this event called Target Carolina that you need to try to get into because you're obviously like crazy about these cars. And we go and we rip on these cars. And he introduced me to the organizer. And I mean, it just opened doors, man. And now, now here we are. And
yeah.
So I think the moral of that story is face your fears, walk through it, and then you never know where it's going to take you.
Definitely.
Love it. Well, Will, I think we've probably taken enough of your time, mate. I know it's late afternoon where you are. You've got your weird green and blue cup there full of, I don't know what's in it. I don't know what you're drinking.
Virginia's finest.
Well, yeah, and it's date night with my wife Andrea and I, so that's where I'm headed from here, and I needed to have that coffee.
Love it. Well, yeah, mate, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. It's been so awesome to catch up, and swing by any time.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
So that was Will from Rennthusiast or Rennthusiast?
I think Rennthusiast.
Rennthusiast. Yeah, YouTube channel, Instagram.
Good research from you there, James.
If there are two ways to pronounce something, the right way and the wrong way, I usually pick the wrong one.
Yeah.
I do.
Hey, it's a skill. Everyone, you got to have something you can call your own.
Oh, God. I'll get better at some point, I guess. But what a nice guy. And what a great collection.
Good dude, huh? Yeah, right. And I love that he's got this incredible cool, let's call it a collection of cars, but he drives them. What did he keep saying? He rips on them.
Yeah.
He just loves to take them out, experience them. Someone I can very much relate to on that level.
Yeah, totally. And I've got to say, I'm really excited about Safari Project. And
oh my goodness, yeah.
I watched a couple. I've seen his videos before, but I watched a couple of his more recent ones before the interview today. And I think the very last one he uploaded was an update on the project, and you just saw the car there, sat in the garage without a hood, without any wheels, and I just see opportunity. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm now thinking about. Yeah. Can Project 996 take a detour and go Safari instead of just going boring Carrera?
Well, then Project 996 could become Project Australia.
Oh, that would be so good. Seriously, though, Perth from Melbourne, it's, there's no ocean in the way. It's doable. We're doing it.
We're going to talk about this every week. Is that what's happening now?
Until you say, yeah, you're doing it.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing it.
I knew it.
All right, is that an episode?
I think it is. Phenomenal. Great chatting with you.
Yeah, you too, my friend. And guys, thank you so much for listening as always. Don't forget to follow James at The Auto Amateur on both YouTube and Instagram. Me, Andy from Last Rasp, Instagram and YouTube of the same name. And also Curb and Canyon on Instagram. Check us out there too. And we'll see you next week.